Grand Theft Auto Online is dying. It's honestly just not in a good place right now. That's just a fact. A quick look at Google Trends will show you that Grand Theft Auto Online is the least popular it's been in 12 months, and we're in the middle of a pandemic right now where everyone is at home, so that's saying something. And it's funny because just a few months ago in May, Grand Theft Auto Online had its best month ever. But the problems that have been plaguing this game for 5, 6, 7 years are obviously still there because all of those new players that came in around that time are gone. Which pretty much just adds to what everyone is saying in the fact that Grand Theft Auto Online is a game that gets way too boring way too quickly considering how much stuff is in the game. So today I'm gonna go over 5 of the changes I think Grand Theft Auto Online needs to make, other than the obvious one, the extremely obvious one that is just announce or release Grand Theft Auto 6 in the next couple of years, like please. So we're gonna go over those, and please don't twist my words. I'm not saying I don't like Grand Theft Auto Online. I love Grand Theft Auto Online, but fact don't lie, it's just not in a good state right now. So if you enjoy this video and you want to see more stuff in Grand Theft Auto Online, make sure to subscribe. Hopefully the end of the year will bring some big updates, and that's all going to be covered here, so you're not going to want to miss out. The first thing that I think is going to help Grand Theft Auto Online a lot is they need to vault content. I saw GTA Man made a video on this a while ago, and this is something I was thinking myself because he's absolutely right. It's crazy to say, but GTA Online might have too much content. If you're unaware of what vaulting content is, essentially it means that some of the content in the game will go away. It'll be removed, and in most cases, this isn't permanent. In most cases, those activities and items will come back at a later date, which means it's actually going to be cool and fun to use those items or do those activities when they come back. I'll explain. Let's take some of the oldest missions in the game. Like, remember Rooftop Rumble, for example? That was an OG mission in Grand Theft Auto Online. If Rockstar removes a bunch of missions like this, and even different races, adversary modes, and death matches as well, then brings them back a few times a year for a week or maybe a month at a time, puts double or triple money on it, you are way more likely to actually want to load up Grand Theft Auto Online and play those activities. With an ongoing live service game like Grand Theft Auto is, no other game that I can think of allows you to replay the same missions, do the same activities, and use the same items that you did 7 years ago. Fortnite, for example, or even Destiny 2 would be completely dead if they did this. Can you imagine those games if they didn't remove the content that people didn't use? It would become an absolute mess, kind of like Grand Theft Auto Online is right now, let's be real. The reason Grand Theft Auto has been able to survive where these other games haven't is because it's Grand Theft Auto. It's got that name, it's got that brand power, people are going to be coming in all the time regardless. Not only will doing this clear up confusion for new players who are thrown into Grand Theft Auto Online with no clue what to do because there's just so much stuff thrown in your face at once, but this would also bring back older players when they see that some of the stuff they used to love to do is going to be gone from the game for a while. It's a really essential part of a live service game and something that Grand Theft Auto Online has never done. It might sound crazy and a bit out there, and look, honestly, it probably is, but I think at least half of the missions in the game should be removed and brought back on a weekly or monthly rotation. This would actually make the game feel like an ongoing world where new things actually happen every week, just like real life. The next thing I would change is businesses. Businesses need a complete rework. They need a complete overhaul, like completely. One of the best ways to make money in the game is businesses. Pretty much everyone knows that by now. And if you've ever done some of the sell missions, some of the source missions, anything you need to do for these businesses, you do it once, it's okay, it's kind of boring. You do it 5 times, you're ready to quit the game. Man, like, that is how repetitive they are. I don't really have a perfect fix for this issue. You can't just remove businesses at this point. That's not gonna work. I do have some ideas though, and the first one is obvious. We need new missions for businesses. It's way too repetitive. That's obvious. But the other idea I have is allow people to choose which type of sell mission that they get, and also allow people to only sell as much stock as they want. Right now, with businesses, you need to sell all of your stock at once, which makes them almost impossible for solo players. There should be an option to sell half or maybe 25% of your stock at once, so you can actually complete them solo, or maybe with one friend if you sell half of it, instead of having to sell all of your stock at once, having 4 sell vehicles spawning and not being able to complete the sale in time. Those are just some ideas. Leave yours below if you have one. I'm actually really curious to see what you guys come up with. The next problem, and one of the biggest problems with Grand Theft Auto Online, is that there's only one sizable update per year for the most part. Last year we kinda got two with the casino and the casino heist, even though there's sort of just like one pretty big DLC. This year so far we've had a really small update with the Los Santos Summer Special, and people are really upset about it. Honestly, I get it, it was a bit of a disappointment. And one of the main problems with Grand Theft Auto is that it goes through really long dry spells, which is honestly really uncommon for live service games. If I was gonna fix the long content droughts, I would do it one of two ways. The first way is more realistic, but I like the second one a bit more. So the first one is release smaller updates more often. I really don't think it's unreasonable to think that Rockstar could add a new DLC like the Summer Special every month or two. Add a few missions, a treasure hunt here or there, some vehicles, things like that spice up the game regularly. Instead of giving players one big DLC per year and then going silent for 12 months, bring these smaller updates in more often along with a pretty big DLC once a year, and that'll make the game feel a lot more alive. My second suggestion, which I'm pretty much certain is never gonna happen, at least until Grand Theft Auto 6, is a season system. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the concept of seasons, and that's fine, but I think this is a game that desperately needs this type of system. Now, before people flock to the comments, I'm not suggesting microtransactions or a battle pass or anything like that, although I'm not completely against that, but I am suggesting things like limited time items or vehicles, limited time quests, limited time missions, and limited time map updates. Like I said, very unlikely to happen. Rockstar has shown that they really don't want to change this map up at all. But if Rockstar were to introduce this type of system, it would give millions of people a reason to come back. And not just come back, but come back every couple of months. And in my opinion, this would completely revitalize the game. Completely. Like I said, really unlikely, but Rockstar, just think about it, okay? The next problem is to do with heists, particularly the older heists. And when I look at Grand Theft Auto heists, I see them as the main sort of end game content, right? Something similar to like a raid in an MMO, for example. One of the things that makes Grand Theft Auto Online so boring really quickly, even though there is so much stuff to do in this game, right? Like there is so much stuff, like a ridiculous amount of stuff to do. All of that's gonna earn you money, that's fine. But there's only really one, two, I'd say three that's probably pushing it. There's a select few types of activities that are gonna make you the most money possible, which means if you're trying to make money as fast as possible, which is kind of what this game is about to a lot of people, there's really only a couple things you can do. For example, there is no point doing any heist except for the Diamond Casino heist. That is a really big problem. And if we look ahead a few months till the end of the year, when we're gonna be getting a new heist, you would expect that to pay more than the casino heist, which means after that, the casino heist is gonna be completely irrelevant. Man, that's a huge problem. So my next suggestion for Grand Theft Auto Online is you need to rework the old heists. And you can do that a few ways. Maybe revisiting those heists and giving us slightly different ways to do it or something like that. Just something to spice it up. That's gonna bring a lot of people back and it's gonna make them really replayable. But the most important thing that you need to do with the older heists is you need to make them pay somewhat similar to the best heist in the game, which is the casino heist. From 2014 to like 2018, 2019, I played a lot of Destiny, right? And the original raids in that game were amazing. I really liked them, and I really liked the original heists in Grand Theft Auto. And in Destiny, once a new raid came out, they had the same sort of problem, right? Those raids were irrelevant. They didn't give you the best gear in the game. It was pointless. So what they did was they remade those raids, made it drop better loot that was actually useful. And this is exactly what Grand Theft Auto needs to do with the older heists. This is gonna really diversify the way that players are gonna be able to make money. It's gonna make the game, I guess, slightly less of a grind because rerunning the exact same activity over and over again makes it feel like more of a grind than if you were doing different types of activities. So yeah, definitely need a rework. I'm not saying they need to pay more than the casino heist, but maybe even if they paid 70 to 80% of what you would earn from the casino heist, I see that as a massive win, and it's gonna give me and a lot of people a reason to go back and play them again. And the final problem with Grand Theft Auto Online is the modders. Now, console guys, I know this is sort of a problem for you. It's not like a huge problem, but if you're unaware, for a lot of people, the game is pretty much unplayable on PC because of the amount of modders that are in the game. Modders have the ability to spawn in pretty much anything they want. They can trap you in cages, they can teleport you, they can kill you over and over again. They can even crash your computer, which has happened to me. For a game that makes this much money and has this many players year round, it's baffling to me. It's mind-boggling to me how many modders are in this game. It's unreal. So my suggestion is Rockstar needs to introduce a really good anti-cheat. Now, you might be thinking, TGG, that's sort of just a PC problem, right? Us console guys, we don't really care. The game's going well on console. I would actually argue that, and here's why. As someone who makes content for this game, I look at other content creators that create content around this game as well, and people who have done that in the past. After looking at a lot of creators that used to play this game, a big reason they stopped streaming it specifically is because they can't stream it without getting booted offline. Now, I don't know how many of you guys follow other games. If you look at a game like Fall Guys or a game like Fortnite, some of the games that have been really popular recently, they blew up because a lot of people were streaming it and making content for that. Content creators around the world know that you can't stream Grand Theft Auto Online because they're gonna get booted, they're gonna get modders crashing their game, which means they can't stream it, which means people can't watch them streaming it, which means there's just less interest in the game. As a result of that, that means less people playing the game, which of course is good for nobody, right? So like I said, on the surface, it might just seem like a PC problem, but really it affects the whole gaming ecosystem. It's something that really needs to be fixed, Rockstar. I think it's going to help you out a lot more than you think right now if you introduce a really good anti-cheat. So those are the 5 changes, they're the 5 quality of life changes that I would change within Grand Theft Auto Online. I think they should vault some of the content and bring it back on a rotating basis, rework the way businesses work in the game, release more smaller updates regularly or introduce a seasonal system, rework the older heists within the game, and introduce an anti-cheat system. Let me know what you guys think of those changes in the comments below. Would you have any other changes? Do you not like those suggestions I put forward? Let me know, and if you disagree, make sure you let me know why, because at the end of the day, we all like this game and we all want to see it succeed, but it will need a bit of work to get to the level that we know it can be. So I appreciate you watching the video. I hope you're staying safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Favorite color, money green. Paper. I've been on my grind since I was